Okay, let's start. So, first of all, I am Hardika Veera, Chief Clinical Dietitian and Head of Kidney Vertical at Coutinho Holistic Healing System. Today, we are going to talk about a very interesting topic, that is 7 habits that damage your kidney. Most of the times, we have been looking at things when things have already gone out of control or when you are already suffering from a lot of issues, right? But these habits are something which we can always ponder on, see if it's a part of your routine, your lifestyle, and can definitely make changes so that we can prevent our kidneys at this stage itself before it reaches a particular state of damage. The worst part about kidney diseases is you will not understand or you will not see any kind of symptoms unless and until your kidneys are damaged to a larger extent. Hence, it's very, very crucial that we take care of this particular organ really well. So, without further delay, let me start with what are those 7 habits. First and foremost is excess intake of processed foods. Okay. When I'm saying this, I do understand that in today's life, people are so busy. They are going out for work. They are trying to manage multiple things at a given point of time, right? They are all multitasking, and it becomes really difficult many a times to get things done right from the scratch, right? And that is why we also have so many products that are ready to eat, ready to make, that is available in the market, and we end up choosing those because it's really, really quick and convenient for all of us, right? But this is one of the worst things that we are doing. The reason being, one, the amount of sodium present in it is very, very high. The sodium and potassium, both in the form of preservatives that has been used in the making of that particular processed package, is way higher than what you would actually get with your normal diet in a day. So basically, if you're sticking to a normal routine, a good healthy routine, and you do things or you eat things that is made at home, as compared to that one meal that you are having which is out of that processed package, you would notice that the amount of sodium and potassium that you might maybe have during the day's time, you're having it in just one meal. So that much is the amount of sodium and potassium which is present. Not only that, but you would notice most of the processed packages are rich in sugars, the refined sugars specifically, maida, and all these other colors, preservatives, and other leavening agents, and many more agents which has been present, right? Which does nothing but harms our body a lot, in terms of it needs to get rid of all of those, right? Our body is not designed in a way to digest and take care of all of these nutrients, all of these toxins per se. Okay, it only knows how to work or digest all the nutrients that we are having through our normal food. Okay, so that's number one. Secondly, when we look at it, when you're having a lot of processed foods, right? You must have seen people who opt for a lot of processed foods or packaged foods rather. There's a change, or there's a trend in terms of increase in terms of weight, which is there, which has been seen, which is observed in a lot of patients that we see day in day out when we do our consults, when we look at them. This may the increase in terms of weight, the obesity per se, can also lead to increase in your blood sugar spikes, considering there's hardly any kind of fiber which is present in these packaged foods. And secondly, it may, considering the amount of sodium, it also affects your blood pressure. Okay, so on a long run, this will directly affect your kidneys as well. Okay, so this is one thing which you want to be really, really careful about. You can go ahead, enjoy it, but be very, very mindful in terms of what you're doing. Okay. Second habit, which is again very, very common in a lot of people that's been seen, that is using over-the-counter painkillers. Okay. You have a headache, let me pop in a painkiller. I have a backache, let me pop in a painkiller. Do we really go to doctor for every time we get any kind of headaches or backaches or leg ache for that matter? No. We just go over the counter, buy painkillers and pop in. That's one of the biggest mistakes that we are doing, because when we are having these painkillers on a long run, it is observed that it is going to affect the smaller molecule, I would say, smaller filtering agents, the nephrons of the blood. Okay, the nephrons of the kidneys, it affects the nephrons of the kidney, thereby affecting the kidneys to a larger extent. Hence, it is not advised to go ahead with the painkillers as such. Okay. Also, it's very, very important that you go ahead and use the natural painkillers, which is in the form of ginger. You could definitely go ahead and have a cup of ginger tea rather than having a painkiller. And the most important thing out here is we end up popping in painkillers without really thinking about the root cause. You might have headache because you haven't really slept well. Maybe you're feeling acidic. But does this painkiller solve that particular issue of your sleep deprivation or your acidity for that matter? No, it doesn't. So hence, it's very, very important that we look at the root cause and work on that rather than just popping in painkillers. Third habit that we would really want to focus upon is, or one habit that most of the people do, mostly the youngsters and people who are working day in, day out, where the workaholics, would be not getting enough sleep. That's one of the worst things that you might be doing. I'm sure you all must have also heard Luke talk a lot about sleep, the importance of sleep. It's only during sleep that the detoxification, wear and tear, recovery, hormonal balance, everything happens when you are in that state of deep sleep. Hence, it's very, very crucial that you achieve those many hours of deep sleep on a regular basis. In fact, it's also been seen that people who do not sleep really well for a longer duration of time, and say over a period of time, you might end up having higher blood pressure. They fall under that high blood pressure category slowly and gradually because your body is always under stress at that point of time. And secondly, what it could also do is it is going to disrupt the complete detoxification process, not allowing it to flush off all the toxins and all from the body, right? How it is supposed to be, right? So hence, it definitely affects your levels to a larger extent. Your body is constantly under stress. You have those cravings. You end up choosing the processed food, and then the whole cycle of processed food, weight gain, spike in blood sugar levels, spike in blood pressure, it starts. Okay. Next point, which was very, very important, would be not hydrating enough. How many of us really take care that today I have to ensure that I have to have my 2 to 2.5 liters of bottle. I am going to carry my bottle every day when I'm moving out from my house. How many of us actually do it? Some of them do, but not everyone does it. Hence, it's very, very crucial that we do ensure that we do carry our bottle, or ensure that wherever we are going to go, we would be getting enough of water to drink. Why is water so important? We all know that water is something which is required as a base for all the toxins to merge along with it and remove from the system. Okay. So for example, all the toxins goes out from the body in the form of sweat, in the form of urine, and in the form of feces, through feces, right? These are the three outlets ideally for all the toxins. There's no other outlet as such, right? So again, in such cases, you would require water for all of these. In case your body is dehydrated, the overall working or the removal of toxins is hampered. That is number one. Two, due to these toxins or all the products which are in excess in the body and which is not required, something like uric acid, something like, say, excess of creatinine and other metabolites which are present in our body, which has not been flushed off, would start causing issues. Again, we have heard about uric acid stones. We have heard about the basic kidney stones as well. When does it form? When we are allowing the solute to crystallize together, when there's less of water. That is the time it starts crystallizing, binding together. We are providing it with that particular environment along with it, and we start noticing those issues. What if we take care of our water intake? What if we ensure that whatever are the excess metabolites that are formed in our body, whatever are the excess nutrients or excess electrolytes present in our body has been flushed off completely, right? So that's very, very important. Fifth point would be, the fifth habit is lack of exercise specifically that I would want to mention. Yes, many of us are very, very cautious in terms of I have to clock so many steps. I go ahead and I do my 30 minutes walk and all of those, which is great as a habit. But there are a lot of people who are mostly sedentary. There's a class of people who is called as sedentary active, wherein you work out or you do a particular activity for 30 minutes in those 24 hours, and rest of the time you are either sitting due to your work, or maybe just lazing around and not doing anything because I have ensured that I have done my part of exercise, right? So that's not something which is healthy. Exercise, how is it going to help? One, exercise really helps in one, maintaining weight. Two, taking care of your blood sugar spikes. Three, controlling your blood pressure. Four, ensuring that the blood flow to all the parts of the body is better, right? So thereby, when we are talking about blood flow, the blood flow here also is the flow that reaches your kidney. In order to assure that you are removing a lot of toxins from the system, while you are sweating, you also lose out on the toxins at that point of time. So hence, all in all, it is very, very beneficial for a person who is not really active and is mostly sitting idle, or is mostly on the couch. We have seen a reverse trend in those cases, like how I just mentioned. Next, the sixth habit would be smoking and alcohol intake. I do understand a lot of us sitting here would be going ahead and doing social drinking. Okay, it's still okay. But the issue arises with people who are doing excessive drinking, specifically as per a lot of researches and studies that are being done. A person who has more than four drinks or more per day has seen to have higher issues with regards to kidney damage. Okay, they are more prone to have chronic kidney diseases. In fact, all the people who drink on a regular manner, but at the same time are not taking care of their meals or their hydration levels, are more prone to also get kidney stones. So hence, it's very, very crucial that you keep a track of how much of alcohol are you having. You have to restrict those drinks in a week's time and not have it on a regular basis. Okay, social drinking is still okay, but we wouldn't want to go overboard on having your alcohol specific. When we talk about smoking is not something which I would say occasional smoking is okay, right? This is something which needs to be stopped ASAP. Okay, there's no way out that you smoke and you say it's okay, please go ahead, but smoke only one a day. No, it causes a lot of issue, right from one, it is known to cause more of inflammation throughout the body. Two, it causes hardening of the arteries, it causes hardening of your lungs, your heart, all of these, wherein the pumping, the blood flow towards all the parts of the body is affected. Hence, even the blood flow to the kidneys is affected. And in fact, a combination of person who does smoke and drink both together has 5 times higher chances of developing kidney issues as compared to a person who is not doing it, as per the studies that's been done. So hence, you would want to be very, very mindful about these habits. Last but not the least, the seventh pointer, which again, something which is very, very common, seen in a huge mass, is excessive intake of protein shakes and bodybuilding supplements. Wherein there's a particular crowd which doesn't really go ahead and work out in excess, but there's this other lot as well who goes to the gym, who goes and does different kinds of activities or exercises, but at the same time the intake of protein shakes due to the awareness definitely has increased quite a bit. Would you say that protein shakes are bad? I would say no, it is not bad. But what is very important for us to consider is, do you really require that protein shake? Are you not meeting your requirements through your meals? And in case, yes, you do require, how much of it do you require? I have seen people replacing meals with protein shakes. So that's not something which is ideal. We have to understand one thing. Whatever you have is going to get digested, is going to get metabolized and absorbed. There are going to be metabolites of those particular product. So for example, for proteins, you have creatinine, you have uric acid, right? From the different sources of proteins that you have. So considering the amount of these in the blood is also going to increase, correct? After it is been digested, absorbed, assimilated, etc. Now, what happens with this excess of proteins, protein metabolites rather, the creatinine, the uric acid that we are speaking about? And while they are having a lot of protein shakes and other supplements per se, but they tend to forget that they also have to ensure that you have to have very good amount of water along with it in order to flush off this excess of creatinine which is formed in our body. This is one part wherein people fail big time. I have seen people who have been having too much of protein shakes and too much of protein through the day, which was not required, and when the hydration levels were also hampered, reaching the level of CKD. Although otherwise the lifestyle with regards to other aspects in terms of, say, maybe alcohol, smoking and everything was not there in this particular person. Even the intake of processed food was not really high. But there are certain habits which does impact our body big time. So you'll have to be, again, very, very careful in terms of what you're doing. Again, with regards to bodybuilding supplements, there are a lot of supplements available in market. Glutamine, BCA, you have creatine supplements, etc., right? Do you really require it? This is one thing you may want to ask yourself. Who requires it? The person who has been doing intense workout, or maybe he is going to participate in a particular event and training for the same. In that case, that person might require it. But us on a regular manner, in terms of if I'm working out for an hour or so, with certain breaks in between, I have enough of proteins through my meals. Do I really require it? What is my goal? These are certain things which you all would always want to think about before going ahead with any kind of supplements. Because at end of the day, it is your kidney and livers who has to detoxify all these toxins from the system and flush it off. Okay, so I really hope this is something which is going to help you all to understand these 7 habits. Try and observe what is it that you are more prone to do on a regular basis, maybe without even realizing. And then we can definitely work at changing this right at this point of time so that it doesn't affect us further, right? So I have certain questions out here, so let me just read those out. Okay. I have one question from Atish who says, what kind of exercises will you suggest to keep the kidneys healthy? It's a very good question. Thank you so much, Atish. So with regards to exercises, what is very important? Again, as I'm saying, it's important to be active, to move around more in order to ensure there's better circulation. For any healthy individual, we need to ensure that there's a combination of your cardio exercises, which would include maybe your walk, your jog, which would include your swimming, your cycling, all of this. But at the same time, you may also want to look at strengthening activities in order to preserve your muscles. Now, all these exercises that I'm talking about is for a general population to prevent any further damage, right? But for a person who is already suffering from a lot of kidney issues, maybe suffering from CKD, and at the same time has been on a protein restriction or other restrictions that have been given by the doctor, then you may want to first discuss with your health practitioner with regards to what is the intensity and what is the duration of the exercises that you can go ahead with, right? You don't want to do it on a regular manner just like that. But for all the people who are good enough, who doesn't have any other issues as such, please ensure there's a combination of cardio, there's a combination of strength training, and at the same time spend some time for flexibility, yoga. You can look at the breathing exercises, the pranayama as well, because all of these together would really help you in different parts, and one part is going to make your heart stronger, the cardio exercises. One part is going to make your muscles stronger, and the other part is going to take care of your breathing, your lung health, and at the same time the flexibility per se. So these are certain things which you may definitely want to go ahead with. I have another question from Nikita. I am really busy and pressed on time during weekdays. What can be done to reduce the intake of processed food? It's an excellent question. Thank you so much, Nikita. So I do understand all of us are busy during the weekdays, but what about the weekends? Can you do certain stuff as a pre-preparation rather than going in for canned foods or say processed packets directly? Can you plan maybe soaking certain stuff, keeping your sprouts or some pulses ready in the refrigerator, and you just have to give certain whistles or so? Can you prepare certain batters right from for the pancakes, the the savory pancakes as well? Can you do that, which could last you for a day or so at least, right? So certain pre-preparation, chopping of vegetables, storing it really well in an airtight container, or maybe certain flours or certain things that you might require for porridge or something of that sort. The pre-preparation person in terms of slightly roasting and keeping it so that whenever you have to prepare, it is very very fast for you all, right? So this is really going to help you a lot. I have next question from Atish. How much of water should one drink if he has kidney stones? Okay, so basically in such cases, you always have to ensure that you are anyways around 2.53 to 3.5 liters of water is being consumed. And when I'm saying this, ensure that at least 2 to 2.5 liters is plain water, and the other can come from fluids. When I'm saying fluids, it doesn't include your teas, coffees, and other fluids. You can go ahead with lemon water for that matter. In that case, you can go ahead with maybe soups or so. You can go ahead with vegetable juices, not fruit juices, please. So all of these things can be taken care of in order to bring up your water intake. But 2 to 2.5 liters of plain water is a mandate in such cases. The more water you have, the better it allows your kidney to flush off all those toxins or those crystals. So I think this is it. We do not have any other questions as such for now. So I would like to end my session here, but I really hope that it is going to help you all to bring about that positive change and ensure that we do not fall under or we do not follow these habits which would actually damage your kidneys. Thank you so much. Please take care.